Spotlight, spotlighting some women, female singing stars right now on the KRXA Morning Show, contemporary ones. And we are talking to Jan Rodak. She is a Santa Cruz activist, a KRXA listener. She has started Defund the Komen Foundation, the page at Facebook. And you wanted to, I just wanted you to talk about a group that you do support, that you do admire, as opposed to the Komen Foundation, and that would be Planned Parenthood. Tell us why you believe this is an organization we should support, Jan Rodak.
It's almost strange that I have to tell people why to support Planned Parenthood. It's a very beloved, long-standing, very efficient organization at delivering healthcare in a specialty. And if you look at the private sector of healthcare, that's how medicine is delivered, in specialties. So you do a better job if you have people who are, for example, cardiac specialists, what have you. But Planned Parenthood is dealing with reproductive health of women and even of men. They do offer vasectomies, things like that. And so they are nationwide, and it's become such a political hot button now because we are in this, 2012 election cycle where the culture wars are so deep that Planned Parenthood has been associated with abortions. And if there's anything I want to point out, it's that the meme of hearing that Planned Parenthood is the nation's largest abortion provider, that's because they are the only provider of abortions that are nationwide. And they do step in chapters around the country where other providers have been driven out by fear and politics and the possibility of being gunned down. So not to be too dramatic, but Planned Parenthood does deliver services around the country. Sometimes they are the only provider of medical reproductive services within an area accessible to some women who are low income. So it's just beyond me why they are targeted the way they are. But once I heard that Komen had targeted them, I was really angry. Komen had given them grant funding for breast cancer screening. When they decided to defund them, they gave one excuse after another. The first excuse was that Planned Parenthood was under investigation and they had decided to no longer associate with organizations, quote, under investigation, unquote. Well, the only investigation Planned Parenthood is under is a complaint filed by a lone Republican congressman out of Florida named Cliff Stearns, who has asked for a congressional inquiry based on some kind of strange set of circumstances and allegations. Just to be clear, Cliff Stearns is also the one that wants to have the first responders from 9/11 matched against a terror watch list. Okay, so let's understand who this man is. So also, the Komen Foundation, once they were hit back hard on this PR-wise, it was pointed out to them, if they're not going to fund groups that are under investigation, why will they take groups under investigation money? Bank of America is under actual investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice, and they're one of Komen's biggest sponsors. So then they had to pedal back and say, okay, it's not the investigation thing. It's because Planned Parenthood does, quote, pass-through grants. Now, what that means is that they don't actually provide breast screening in their offices, mammograms. Well, guess what? No physician does. You have to go to an imaging center. So Planned Parenthood was passing along that grant money in vouchers that low-income women could take to imaging centers. So really nothing that they come up with as an excuse flies.
All right, we've got Jan Rodak. Before we let you go, you mentioned to me off the air, you've kind of observed that in the Facebook group, you kind of have two different groups of likers. Could you tell us what those two groups are?
Yes, one group is, they were kind of the early joiners, I should say, and they're still there. They are people who have a really deeply personal connection to breast cancer and also to Komen, because they have either been a breast cancer patient, or they are related to one or married to one, or sadly have lost one. And they've spent a lot of years supporting this organization, and now they feel really exploited, and they feel betrayed and angry. A lot of those people are men. And that's been really fulfilling, I think, for a lot of our female followers to see the support come in from men.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I just assumed that the vast majority of people participating would be women, but I guess that's not necessarily the case, and that's great to know.
And I know that there's a way we can find out, but definitely if you go down our page, you can see a lot of men participating. But that's kind of a sign of the times. I mean, men don't look at women's issues as women's issues; they look at them as human rights issues. But that section of our group is really important to us because they're sharing stories that we really had no knowledge of before about how personally people had felt about this. The second group would be those who are already politically aware, and they're already kind of on guard against anything that has to do with making health care harder to access because of political ideology. And they've been putting up some wonderful stuff, too. So those are kind of the two ways that we're going. Now, in order to take advantage of that, because of having 19,000 followers, we've really felt it was our responsibility, even though we didn't plan this, to give these people a voice and to do something with all these followers. So we're splitting off into another subsection. It's a different Facebook page called Medicine Over Morals. And that will be dedicated mostly to the overall fight against contraception funding like we've seen lately, anything having to do with like healthcare reform and how, a lot of this political ideology has interrupted that. And so that's kind of where we're going with that.
Well, I want to thank you so much. I think it's great that you've become so involved in this, I believe, very worthy cause. Not just anti Komen, but pro Planned Parenthood, pro family planning, and pro medicine over morals. I think that's just great, Jan. Please keep us.
And can I say one more thing?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Is important. There are local chapters of Komen that were caught up unwittingly in this that do really a good job. And if you feel like your local chapter of the Komen Foundation is working hard for you, don't hesitate to stop supporting them because they may be the ones that are pressuring the national organization to rethink a little bit and retool. So I'm not asking anybody to actually defund Komen. That's just a phrase.
It's just the name of the page. It's just the name of your page.
It's the name of the page that's stuck because we can't change it.
Well, no, fair enough. And thank you so much, Jan. And thanks for clarifying that as well. We really do appreciate it. Please keep us in the loop. Jan Rodak. If you want to join me, that interview went a little longer than I had intended, but I'm very glad it did because Jan brought a lot of very interesting and important information to us. And also, I love spotlighting local people who are part of this family, the KRXA family, and who are doing important work as Jan Rodak is. You can go to the page there at facebook.com, D-Fund Komen, and learn much, much more about it. We got a break coming up in a couple of minutes. We're going to talk to Eric Peterson from the Green Party at the end of this hour. We'll talk about Whispering Oaks and a great victory there for those of us who love our beautiful peninsula, who love the trees. We'll talk to Eric about that in about 20 minutes. Right now, I want to talk to you, 888-KRXA 540, 888-579-2540. And I do want President Obama to get reelected, or I certainly don't want any Republican to beat him. I think that Don Smith was right. The Dems are better than the Repugs. I agree with Article Man that this president has done some good things, and we certainly don't want to see a Mitt Romney or Rick Santorum elected. But the stories just keep coming in where the president is betraying fundamental core progressive values. This story was first brought to my attention yesterday by a great friend of the station, Dennis in King City. And here it is being reported at Salon. Obama to unions, see you later. And the sub-headline, his labor allies are undermined as the president signs a law that will discourage workers from organizing. On Monday, President Obama signed a bill that will make it harder for workers to form a union. The bill, the FAA Reauthorization Act, passed Congress last week despite an outcry from major unions. Dozens of House Dems voted for it, as did most Democratic senators. And are you trying, President Obama, to make it harder for Democrats in the future to win elections? Are you trying to give power to the corporatists? Because when you weaken unions, you weaken all of us. You weaken working Americans, you weaken poor Americans, and you empower the 0.01%.